Switzerland. I came, I saw, I conquered. Hello, you.
Don't touch me! Don't talk!
Boris Johnson portrayed as a womanizer with a cavalier attitude towards learning Shakespeare. This play explores his student days at Oxford, when he wasn't yet a public figure but already quite a performer.
Strike me dead!
He did play Richard III, and it is true from everything we've read that he didn't learn his lines, and literally had all his lines taped to the set. And I think it takes a certain kind of person to be in that position and to also be confident enough for the audience to actually quite like you.
Boris III received much attention at Edinburgh's famous Fringe Festival.
Have you ever had a Boris Johnson with you? Have you had a Boris Johnson?
A colourful character, he's also a divisive figure. Boris Johnson attended the United Kingdom's most prestigious schools, from Eton to Oxford University's Balliol College, where this group is currently enrolled. The father of one of them also studied here in the 1980s.
Boris was president of the Oxford Union when my dad was there as well. I have asked about it. My dad was like, you know, he was just a bit of an odd character. He was a bit eccentric, a bit out there. Very much like wanted to, I guess, put himself into a limelight.
They'd be like,
Harriet and fellow Balliol students launched a petition to have Boris Johnson banned from their college. They felt he had tarnished Oxford's image.
Conversation for Friday afternoon.
yeah.
People will attribute Brexit to him, people will blame Brexit on him. The consequences of Brexit will go on for years and years to come. His handling of the pandemic and his failure to handle the pandemic will be remembered for a long time.
When details emerged of his parties at Downing Street during lockdown, his position became untenable. His ministers rebelled, and the public was appalled.
My mum died of COVID and we couldn't see her in hospital, we couldn't have a funeral, and yeah, the fact that he was having parties this whole time whilst he was telling us to all stay indoors is something that I don't think any Briton will forget. Yeah, there was a real betrayal at that point when we found out recently about the Downing Street parties, and it's just an absolute disgrace and he should be ashamed of himself.
Since the news of him stepping down, a certain Boris nostalgia has been growing in Conservative circles. An hour away from Oxford, the wealthy town of Henley-on-Thames, where he was first elected Member of Parliament. Like many, Will Hamilton was quickly won over by Johnson's charisma.
There was a group of us that were we'd just come out of school actually, just before we went to university, and I remember fondly him saying, "Don't leave me here, let's go to the pubs." Well, we bought the round of drinks, we're expecting him to come back soon and buy the next round of drinks, so waiting to see him.
A chance to possibly reminisce on great victories like the 2019 general election. Johnson vowed to get Brexit done, and the Conservatives clinched many Labour bastions.
He very much connected with the people of not just this town, but right across the country, including those red wall seats, which he obviously won with a huge majority. The Brexit decision has been hanging around the Conservative Party for the last 45 years. Whether it should be in or whether we should be out, whether we should be half in or half out. The reality was it was never going to be perfect.
But by campaigning and delivering Brexit, he made some enemies. Scotland voted overwhelmingly against leaving the European Union. So when the Conservative hustings recently took place in Perth, party members did not quite get a warm welcome.
Yeah, it's an important event. Obviously, we've got to choose a new leader of our party. So we have to be.
Demonstrators have no trust in the Conservative leadership. Brexit has changed everything, according to Susanna.
I would say a lot of people in our group support independence. Probably more support independence now that we've left the EU than did at the start.
He has brought more people to the Scottish independence than any Prime Minister ever. He's been the best recruiting sergeant ever.
Many Conservatives here have supported Boris Johnson through thick and thin.
There were a lot of traitors in the party who all stabbed him in the back. No matter what you thought about Boris, he's a very, very clever, highly intelligent man, a great debater.
I don't think he was misunderstood. I think we understood it
all of the disorganisation and all the baggage that came with Boris, we actually took that into account when we voted for him last time.
We meet Susanna and Michael, a firm supporter of Scottish independence. Both are worried by the soaring cost of living.
The anger in Scotland simply reflects the general anger that's happening now in England as well. Boris Johnson has not, in many people's view, been anything other than an extremely destructive and untrustworthy individual.
People have become more cynical generally about politicians, and the worry there is that then people are less politically active. And that's when you end up with the extremists getting what they want.
Boris Johnson has reshaped the political landscape and will forever be associated to Brexit. Some hope he will one day come back as Prime Minister. It's an option for a man who remains for now mysterious over his next move.